Ram Ram Hare. Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare. Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram.
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण everyone. So today is the 26th of December. It is Tuesday and it is Margashesha Masa or Keshava Masa and Sukla Paksham and Paurnimi Tithi. So there are no Vaishnav events today. So we shall quickly enter into Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Shamika Rishi, he is giving so many reasons to the Shringi, and also at the end, he was praying to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And on one side, he is also glorifying the Parikshit and devotees of the Lord. And he was he was a bit disturbed for his child's curse towards the Parikshit Maharaj. So he was apapeshu svavrutyeshu balena apako buddhina papam krutam tad bhagavan sarvatma kshantum arhati. So he is praying to the Lord to forgive his foolish child. And he is also saying, glorifying the devotees of the Lord. They are always tiraskrutaha vipralabdaha saptaha kshiptaha hata api. So even though they are rejected or insulted and also being cheated, also cursed or neglected and also even killed, so but they do not take revenge. They do not take any reactive actions. Nasya tat pratikurvanti tad bhaktaha prabhavopihi. Even though they are powerful enough, they don't counteract. So likewise, Shemik Rishi, he was praying to the Lord and he was praying to Shringi as well. So likewise, Shemik Rishi, he was in that mood. So Swata Goswami, he is saying that, so today he says that, Shemik Rishi, he is now always regretting, but he did not take the king's offense very seriously. So likewise, Swata Goswami is saying. So we are in the first canto, chapter 18, verse number 49. इति पुत्रकृताघेन सो अनुतप्तो महामुनिः स्वयं विप्रकृतो राज्ञ न एव अघं तद् अचिन्तयत्. Iti putra kruta aghena. So in such a way, his son's the sinful activity when he has performed. So anutapto mahamunihi, the Shemik Rishi was regretting about that sinful activity. So anutapto mahamunihi. Swayam viprakruto rajna. But whatever the king has performed, Swayam viprakruto rajna. Nayeva agam tad achintayat. And he did not consider that as a great sinful activity. He did not take that insult at all. Radna nayeva agam tad achintayat. He did not think that it is an offense at all. So likewise, so the Goswami is saying to Saunakadi sages, Iti putra iti putrakrita aghena so anutapto mahamunihi swayam viprakutorajna na eva agam tad ajintayat. So translation for this verse. The sage thus regretted the sin committed by his own son. He did not take the insult paid by the king very seriously. And purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The whole incident is now cleared up. Maharaja Parikshit's garlanding the sage with a dead snake was not at all very serious offense. But Shringi's cursing the king was a serious offense. The serious offense was committed by a foolish child only. Therefore, he deserved to be pardoned by the Supreme Lord, although it was not possible to get free from the sinful reaction. Maharaja Parikshit also did not mind the curse offered to him by a foolish Brahmana. On the contrary, he took full advantage of the awkward position, and by the great will of the Lord, the Maharaja Parikshit achieved the highest perfection of life through the grace of Srila Sukadeva Goswami. Actually, it was the desire of the Lord, and Maharaja Parikshit, Rishi Samika, and his son Shringi were all instrumental in fulfilling the desire of the Lord. So none of them were put into difficulty because everything was done in relation with the Supreme Person. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So here in this purport, Prabhupada is also explaining about the sage did not take the offense seriously. So he is already achieved. He was meditating on the Lord. He has achieved samadhi. That means he has conquered all of the Arishad Vargas almost. So he did not take that offense. So here in the previously, when Krishna was saying to Arjuna, when Arjuna to punish Ashwadhama at the time, he gives the reasons when one person can be killed, when one person should not be killed. Mattam pramattam unmattam suptam balam striyam jadam prapannam viradam bhedam naripum hanti dharmavet. So dharmavet, he will not take, he would not kill the person who has done any activity when he was in the mattam and he was not attentive. Pramattam, so when he was intoxicated. Unmattam, a madman. Suptam, so when sleeping. Balam, children. And striyam, woman. And jadam, a foolish boy or foolish person. Prapannam, who has surrendered. Viradam, who doesn't have any chariot. Bhetam, who is afraid of. Naripum hanti dharmavet. So here, different dharmavet and also the opposite direction, different kinds of states of the person. So here, when Parikshit was done, he was mattam, he was not attentive because of the extreme thirst and hunger. So that's why here, the sage, he did not Mahamunihi, he is a Dharmavit as well. So he did not take that offense seriously. But here, the childish Shringi, he was a foolish boy, Balam. So there would not be any. And also, Parikshit also Dharmavit, he would not take any counteraction towards the boy as well. And also, Shemikaris is praying to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So all the situation is cleared up. So here Prabhupada is mentions Shemikrishi and his son Shringi and Parikshit Maharaj and the Supreme, everyone are the instrumental in fulfilling the desire of the Lord. So no one is finally everyone in the good position only. So Maharaj Parikshit took that situation as advantage to elevate himself and back to Godhead. So he is prepared. So likewise, some of the sages are hearing from the Sutta Goswami. Iti putraka aghena, iti putrakruta aghena, so anutapto mahamunihi, swayam viprukruto rajna naiva agam tad achintayat. So the Shemikrishi did not think that offense very seriously. So here the main point is that Krishna, sometimes there will be conflicts even among the devotees, but so you have to be doing like this, you have to be doing like that, you did like that, I did like this, so it should be like this. There would be different kinds of arguments, and but everything is in relating to Krishna here, the center point. All the conflicts will be coincided in Krishna consciousness, but if whatever it is done, it will be coming to a good conclusion only, an ultimate conclusion, that is Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. One person wanted to introduce one new system, but they say what showing some points from the scriptural injunctions, but other person say some points in the scriptural injunctions, and but at the end everyone are leading to the same perfection only at the end. It depends on the consciousness what they're speaking about. So likewise, here the situation, everything is cleared up. It is the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. इति पुत्रकृत अघेन सो अनुतप्तो महामुनिः स्वयं विप्रकृतोराज्ञ नएव अगम तद अचिन्तयेत्. So that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. So we shall quickly enter into Srila Prabhupada's daily letter.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, just a little comment. Here, why it was mentioned it was not serious offense? Because after doing that, Parikshit, he regretted. So he was thinking that is whether Rishi was meditation or he was regretting. Parikshit was thinking why I did such kind of things, or why it happened. Maybe Rishi was deep meditation. So many things. So in here, I mean, after doing such kind of things, even Shomik Rishi was not taken seriously, although Kars was not taken seriously by Parikshit Maharaj. Both were, but even it was serious offense to put snakes on the head of one Rishi. Even Parikshit himself, he was regretted. So why it is not serious offense? Hare Krishna.
So here it was not serious. If the Parikshit, he was in the normal condition. If he was in the normal condition, there is the extreme thirst and hunger, and that is the pramatta. He was not attentive at that particular time. He was stricken by extreme thirst and hunger. So he did, and he was not well received by the Shemik Rishi. And then when Parikshit was returning to his palace, so then he just immediately he put that one, he saw that one. So by the will of the Lord again, and in that situation, he has put that snake and then he left. And then when he has come to that senses, when he was going, when his mind got bit calmed down, then he could understand what he has done. So that, and also here Shemik Rishi, his position is already, it is not that much disturbed condition. He is coming from the meditation and observing what has happened properly. And Shringi, he was in among the children, foolish children, Adbakaihi, Balakaihi. So at the time he was saying, look at my prowess, I will curse this person, I will punish him. So because he was taking the position of Krishna. So at the Krishna he has left, and then all these people, the kings, they have taken, they are not behaving properly. So I will punish, I will take the position of Krishna. So likewise, Pasitime Bhalam. So he was showing his prowess among the foolish children. So that is different. So when we observe all these things, Parikshit position, his mattam, he was not attentive because of the extreme thirst and hunger. So Shemik Rishi understand.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mata.
Yeah, I think what I gather from it is from the material eyes, we live a life that if somebody does us wrong, we just retaliate and get anger and bitter about it, and so we want to hurt that person. And it's actually showing you this incident that really, what lesson can you learn from it? You know, there was an offense, but because the person who received the offense did not feel that way, he was able to deal with it in a nice way, and all to do with the Lord showing you how you can get out of conflict and difficulties. How you deal with it is so important. So Maharaj Parikshit benefited greatly because he also was a pure soul beforehand, and so he was able to manage it without any hatred or disagreement. And so I picked out that really what we do, we fight amongst ourselves for no reason when we can resolve it in a nice way and become friends. Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So this is the first thing is the maunam. Maunam sadasana deha steryam prana janasenehi pratyahara shindriyanam vishyan manasabhuti. So one has to control and maintain the silence first of all, and then these are the qualities of the Lord, devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So even though they're tirskrutaha, vipralabdaha, shabdaha, kiptaha, hata api, nasya tat pratikurvanti, they do not counteract. Nasya tat pratikurvanti, tad bhaktaha prabhavopihi, they are powerful. Even though they are powerful enough, they don't counteract. So maintain the silence first, and then when things are calmed down, then we reflect everything what has happened, which is right, which is not right. Even though we think that it might be right, the Lord is always observing us, and so this is the devotee's life. Everything would happen, even though whether we do it or we don't do it. But whether I need to take that action or not, it is up to my choice. Thing would happen, but do I need to interfere in that kind of activity? No, devotees doesn't interfere in it. So here also, Parikshit did not interfere within that curse. He simply accepted it. Everything went successfully later on. Even after Parikshit left his body, and when Janmejaya also was performing Sarpayaga at the time, Vyasadeva also come to Janmejaya to stop. There were further recommendations to stop that. At the time, Vyasadeva, he called Parikshit in his settled body, in his and then Parikshit appeared in front of the Janmejaya, and then he spoke, and then situation is everything is normal later on. So where is the difference? So when Parikshit has got a body, material body, now still he was able to present in front of his son among the all the people sages where the Sarpayaga was taking place. So these are number of sequences, sequence of activities we could reflect. And Parikshit's son, Janmejaya, he was, and further his circumstances are different. That we would be seeing later on, maybe when we get a chance. At the time, so the Takshaka, his duty was simply to come and bite, that's it. And he should not do anything else. If someone is coming and trying to heal it, it is not his. And then he was also trying to interfere in someone's activity. That is not right. And bribing someone. So I will give you this much, something like this, and don't come here. And Kashyapa Muni was coming there to give some kind of medicine to Parikshit in counteracting the poison. So he was stopped. So there are further things. There is so many characters would come into picture later on. So one's activity simply needs to be very plain. If something happens, simply accepting it. That is the best course of action without any counteractions. So that's why na asya tat pratikurvanti tad bhaktaha prabhavopihi. They don't take any counteractions. Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, that means if someone doing any offense in matta, pramatta, because people are doing in that stage, doing something wrong. So that means if someone is doing some offense in that stage, it will not count seriously.
Yes, Dharmavit does not take it seriously. Dharmavit, Naripum, Naripum Hanti. So this is mentioned by Krishna. Naripum Hanti Dharmavit. He does not take very seriously and he does not kill them. He does not take any action towards them. But if he is attentively doing, then there is a further actions.
Hare
And
Krishna
also,
Prabhu. Oh, sorry.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
It begs the question about the Kurukshetra's war, but seeking justice. But it's not the same, is it? It's kind of different because the Pandavas' rights were taken away. And so nobody's rights were taken away in this case, I don't think. Is that right?
So in the Pandavas case, actually Dhritarashtra is there. Dhritarashtra is the father level to Yudhishthira. So whatever, even though Dhritarashtra did bad things, Yudhishthira simply accepts it. But he would put his case, but whatever the justice comes, either good or bad, he simply accepts because his father's love Dhritarashtra is there, and his grandfather Bhishma Deva was there, Guru Deva is there, and he doesn't say anything that you are not doing correctly. Likewise, he doesn't say that. And his brothers, younger brothers, they simply follow his brother, even though his brother is not acting correctly. According to their opinion, but still they simply follow Yudhishthira's footsteps. Even the Bhishma is so powerful enough to kill everyone in the Sabha itself, but he doesn't do it because Yudhishthira was there. Arjuna was there. They're quite all the time because Yudhishthira is there. He knows what needs to be done, what not needs to be done. He is the Yudhishthira, Dharmaraja, son of Dharma. So here in the previous also when Dharma, he was speaking to Parikshit when Parikshit was asking for the witness to kill Kalipurusha. At the time, the Dharma speaks, Dharmosi, you have spoken correctly. Parikshit addresses that. Even though who identifies that who are doing adharma, who identifies for that person also, there is a rules and regulations. They will also come into the trap. So we should not identify that there is a some person has done mistake like that. We should not identify them as well. So this is very beautifully says by the Parikshit Maharaj. So that is Dharmam Bhavishi Dharmadno. It is very beautifully explains. So one has to be very previously. Let me just bring that point. Dharmam Bhavishi Suchakasyapi Tad Bhavet. Suchakasyapi, whoever is identifying the adharma or a person who committed a mistake, for them also there is a rule. So we should not identify any person that if they are doing some kind of offenses. Okay, so that is very beautifully explains. That is Srimad Bhagavatam gives all kinds of circumstances. Everything makes us to be quiet and think and reflect, not to immediately react. Whenever things would happen, either we act or not, things would happen on their own. The time will pass. Time is all every second is ticking on our body. Our body will be going down. Whether we will be angrily or to be keep ourselves steady in that state or not, it is our choice. Otherwise, this is the only thing. So time in a glimpse of time, in a few moments of time, few moments, all these things would happen. Either we are angry, we are wanted to fulfill all our desires or not. Everything will be then dharmam pravishi dharmadhya dharmoshu rusharupadhru yad adharmakrutah stanam sochakasyapi tadbhave. So this is the Parikshit was saying to Dharma. Dharmam pravishi dharmadhya dharmoshu rusharupadhru yad adharmakrutah stanam sochakasyapi yadbhave. It is the 17th chapter 22 verse. So it is beautifully says there also. So there are so many things. So as a devotee, we chant and we do our duty. Swadharma acharanam sektya. We perform our duty without any tinge of gaps. That is important. We don't take wrong path. We do right path, which is coming from the authority, and then walk and keep ourselves silent as much as possible, not to speak, and speak only Krishna Katha. That's all. So that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so today it is a letter to Garga Muni. I think this one we have read yesterday. Okay, so today letter to Vasudeva, November 20, 1969, London. Can I request any dear devotees to read this letter? Okay, I shall read it. My dear Vasudeva, please accept my blessings. I thank you very much for your nice letter and the beautiful picture of Radha Krishna which you have sent to me. Immediately upon receipt of this picture, I have hung it on the wall directly above my deities, and it is appearing very nice there. Thank you very much. I always remember you that you are such a sincere and good boy, and I am sure that Lord Krishna will help you more and more to advance in Krishna consciousness. Krishna is very merciful to his sincere devotees, but also we have to remember that Maya is very strong. Therefore, we have to always be engaged in serving Krishna. At every moment, we should be doing this or that service for Krishna's transcendental pleasure. If we do not remember this, then Maya is right there to grab us. It all depends upon our leaning towards Krishna or towards Maya. If you lean towards Krishna, you will be in Krishna consciousness. And if you lean towards Maya, then you will be captivated by material nature. Krishna and Maya are just like light and shadow, which are directly next to one another. If you move a little this way, you are in light, and there is no question of shadow. But if you move a little the other way, you are in darkness. So if we remember to always be engaged in Krishna service, then there will be no Maya, and everything will be all right. Please always remember this great secret of advancement in Krishna consciousness. So, as you are showing promise to be a nice artist, I think you may next paint some pictures of spiritual masters in the line of disciplic succession. Also, continue to fix up the new temple nicely and promote the Sankirtana movement as far as possible. These, along with promoting our literatures, will give you sufficient engagement to fill your time. Also, continue to chant all of your rounds daily and read our magazines and books as much as possible. In this way, your future will be very bright, and surely you will be able to do great service to this moment within your lifetime. I hope this will make you in good health. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so any comments from this letter, dear devotees?
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Yeah, it's clearly mentioned. Main point is it is two option. Either we can stay on Krishna's pathway, or to ignore Krishna, following the path of shadow of Krishna. That means one is spiritual path, another one is material path. If we engage our activities for direction of Krishna, even become as a artist, he can draw some picture of Lord Krishna or special masters, or engage mind. Engage mind means to doing some japa or study special books, magazines, back to that Prabhupada books, many other books. So then it is service attitude, engage mind different way to reading scripture or japa. So that means in the path of Krishna is a sunshine of Krishna. That is path of Krishna. And another is opposite way. We if we are doing other thing, Prabhupada has mentioned nonsense thing. That is Maya. So this is the shadow of Krishna. So it is our choice. Right?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes. This is Bhakti Yogena Manasi Samyak Pranihite Amale Apasyat Purusham Purnam Mayam Cha Tad Apashrayam. Maya is always next to Krishna. Mayam Cha Tad Apashrayam. This is Vyasadeva when he was Bhakti Yoge Manasi Samyak Pranihite Amale. When Narad Muni says to Vyasadeva to compile all these things, and later on when he was in the meditation, at the time he was seeing the Krishna and the Maya both in his meditation, Bhakti Yogena, but he was in the Bhakti Yogena. When we are in the devotional service, we see what is Krishna, what is not Krishna. Either it is Krishna or Purusham Purnam or Mayam Satad Apashriyam. If we don't engage ourselves in Krishna, then immediately Maya will grab us, light and shadow. Very beautiful analogy. And it is practical. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Okay, any other points, dear devotees? Okay, so this is how Prabhupada is giving. So whatever that we have got, and so not to keep ourselves mostly engaging in the family affairs, so just engage our energy, time and energy. Otherwise, we have to increase all our family burdens, unnecessary ingredients, and counteracting those things, we think that it is happiness, which is not actually. So gruheshu kota dharmeshu dukkatantreshu atindritaha. Dukkatantreshu atindritaha. It is very beautiful thing. Just I have come across. Gruheshu kota dharmeshu dukkatantreshu atindritaha. And kurvan dukkha pratikaram, just to counteract dukkha pratikaram, sukavan manyate gruhi, and he thinks that is the happiness. To counteract his pain, first he increased the pain, later on to counteract the pain is called his pleasure. That he thinks sukavan manyate gruhi. Okay, so we need to live that koda dharma, gruheshu koda dharmeshu, and we need to engage ourselves in Krishna. Then we don't fall into that trap. This is the real happiness. This is our real natural joyfulness of the soul. Okay, that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter. Engage all time and completely occupy all your time in sufficiently. Promoting our literatures will give you sufficient engagement to fulfill your time. And read magazines like we are going to do after our session and this teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Okay, so that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter. And from the announcements point of view, so today evening we have got a session by our Sangha members, by Supriya Gopi Mataji at 8 p.m. And tomorrow we have got a Kirtan evening and then further Krishna Katha. So our week is fully occupied. And now after this regular session, we have got teachings of Lord Chaitanya. That's all from announcement side from me. And dear devotees, if you have got any other updates or you wanted to share anything on Krishna consciousness, kindly share.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
One of the messages that come out of this is really to sort yourself out by getting your own house in order before you start. So build a good grounding, like he says about fix the new temple up properly and promote Sankirtan movement by. That was one of the things that were really important. So Prabhupada always stress on promoting the movement, Krishna conscious movement. So you'll be doing it by all sorts of different things to invite the public and extend the movement. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Magazines and books and all that future.
Yeah, sure. Mataji.
Chanting, Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so that is from Prabhupada's letter and announcement side. So now we are going to teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So request dear devotees, whoever is next turn today for the reading repeat.
So today is Smritika Mataji, Malti Mataji, and Garangi Mataji. Prabhu, if I have 2 minutes, I did a slideshow yesterday of all the main points that we discussed yesterday. I can quickly run through that.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Okay, I've sent it to you in case I can't share it. So yesterday, these are the. Like, can you see it?
Yes, Mataji.
You can see it, yeah? And you can hear me also, yeah?
It is saying loading. We can hear you.
Okay, is it? Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. So we spoke about the author yesterday, who is Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. So I just found out some information about him. He was born in Bhadia, which is a family in a village of Jamdapur, which is a district in Bardhamam in West Bengal, to Sri Bhagirathi and Srimati Sunanda. And he was born 10 years after Mahaprabhu's appearance in 1496, and he lived till old age, as this is when he wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita. He was instructed by Nityananda Prabhu in a vision to leave West Bengal and travel to Vrindavan. He took initiation from Raghunath Das Goswami. And on the request by the Rajvasis who had not met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj compiled CC based on diary entries by Murari Gupta and Swarup Damodar and conversations with Raghunath Das Goswami, who had served Swarup Damodar, who was Mahaprabhu's personal secretary. And then Krishna Kaviraj Das Goswami is also identified as an incarnation of Krishna's handmaiden, Kasturi Manjari, and this is written in Gora Ganodesha Dipika. And then I've tried to do like the key concepts and understanding and application. So in the introduction, we learned that Chaitanya Charitamrita, the word Chaitanya means living force, Charitra means character, and Amrita means immortal. Immortal is someone that's not subject to death. The word Chaitanya Charitamrita may then be translated as the character of the living force in immortality. So basically, we're talking about the person who is the character of the person who is immortal. And basically, Chaitanya Charitamrita is the biography of Lord Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And these are just some things that I'll just leave. I'll put it in the chat. So if anyone, so just some understanding about what the word character means. So essentially, like we have our own character, Lord has his own character. And then we looked at the difference between jiva and living entity. So a jiva is mortal, is controlled by this material energy and is born and dwindles. Lord is immortal, never comes under the control of material energy and always exists. There's no beginning or end. So even like people that are closest to us, is it easy or difficult to understand them? It's just the question that we can ask ourselves. And then how do we convey to loved ones how we wish to be loved? Like, and in the same way, the Supreme Person comes to teach us how to love him. So he teaches us simply how he came to earth to preach about Krishna Bhakti, the love of Krishna. And he tells us that he's Lord Krishna himself, and he's teaching the living entities the proper way to approach Krishna. So just like, a teacher teaches ABCD, when he sees that his students aren't doing doing poorly, Lord Chaitanya makes this really easy for us, because he guises himself as a devotee to teach us about Krishna consciousness, and we must study him in that light. And he teaches us how to break the shackles of Maya and become immortal. So in short, Lord is very merciful. Sisi gives us a love letter to him, to teach us, to show us, to remind us, to save us from drowning further and further into Maya's lure, and invite us back to where we belong. So who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So obviously we can see from the picture that he's Krishna with the mood of Srimati Radharani. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to show us to love him like Radharani loves him by taking on her mood. He's equally learning about her love and relishing it in great absorption, because she gets it right. She knows how to love him the best, and therefore in devotional service we should take shelter of her because she knows best. And this is quite deep, and so we need to really meditate on that. There's also a paragraph about when fools open their mouths versus when devotees open their mouths. So there's some characteristics. So when a fool opens his mouth, he's going to say certain things. When a devotee opens his mouth, he's going to say certain things. So we need to really move even in our speech, we need to move over into speaking like a devotee, speaking more about Krishna. Because a devotee will not naturally say things that are beneficial. Then there's a section on hypocrisy, and one of the things that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes clear about his character is that he does not like hypocrisy, and there's lots of things we can learn from the Chota Haridas Thakur story. But at the same time, he's very fond of grihestas, and there's a story about how he even names a child an auspicious name. So the key thing is that be who we are. There's no point in being Mahaprabhu just doesn't like hypocrisy. Like we are inside is what we should be like on the outside. Then there's a section about freedom, so how we attain it, and can we attain freedom? Because essentially we like freedom, and we don't want to work, we don't want responsibility, we just want to enjoy and be free. And essentially Chaitanya Charitamrita is about freedom and love, because like Krishna, and his expansions, they don't come into influence by the material energy. So we can try to also remain free and foolproof in this life. So we need to think about the ways that we can. So one who has a godly nature is defined as one who is not affected by the modes of material nature, although in material nature. So even though we're in it, we don't have to be affected by it. And if a devotee can attain this freedom, then what to speak of the Supreme Lord? So even as even as someone that's practicing, we have this opportunity to actually free ourselves from this bondage of material nature. And clearly, if we can do it, then certainly Lord is, he can do it. And then Rupa Goswami says we can remain uncontaminated while in the world if we simply make it our ambition to serve Krishna. So that's the way to, that's the answer really, that we remain uncontaminated if we have our ambition, our goal is to serve Krishna. And then, this is a new year that's going to start. So we can list ways which we can further enhance our relationship with the Lord. So it's just an exercise that we can do at some point that really helps us to remain free from the clutches of material energy. So verse 1, as we can see, is about paying obeisances to the Guru Parampara and Krishna's expansions, because this is what Krishna Kaviraj Goswami does. It's really important because this all leads back to Krishna. And then he's paying obeisances to Gaur Nitai, who dissipate darkness of the material world, like the sun and the moon that have risen together. So they've come together. So when Gaur and Nitai are there, when Krishna Balram is there, all the darkness that is in our life just naturally dissipates. There's no room for any darkness. And then who is Krishna Chaitanya? So from the Ishopanishad, we're asking Lord to remove this covering of his, this effulgence of his. And staying on with Ishopanishad, that speaks about the Brahman, the impersonalist stop here at the effulgence. The Paramatma is present within everyone's heart and the atom in the universe, but it's still a partial representation of the Lord. But Bhagwan is full in his 6 opulences, and he's Krishna God, and that nothing is equal or greater than him. There is nothing superior to be conceived. So once we're in Krishna, that's it. Like, we're there, kind of thing. But that keeps increasing, but at the same time there's nothing greater than him, and he is the supreme person. And again, Rupa Goswami, this beautiful verse that we kind of read when we're offering, he's saying that Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is even more magnanimous than Krishna, because he's given what freely as well, what no one's ever given before, which is pure love of Krishna. And then Chaitanya Charitamrita, the teachings of Lord Chaitanya start at the point where we surrender to Krishna. So Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks about distinguishing soul from matter, spirit from matter. Then, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Hatha Yoga, everything is finished there in the material existence. Everything's finished. So when all that is done and dusted, even to the point where the relationship starts, even in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is still asking for forgiveness for friendship in familiarity. But the beauty of Lord Chaitanya is that through Lord Chaitanya, we can have a loving relationship with Krishna with no limits. And this is the beauty of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the mercy. And then obviously we talk about the different types of relationships that one can have. And then obviously there's a specific emphasis on conjugal love in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Lord Chaitanya, again, this is another prayer. He's here to deliver Krishna Prema, unalloyed love for Krishna. And then if we keep him in our hearts, it will be easy to understand Krishna through him. And that's one of the prayers. And then Krishna, he's this deep love that he has for the gopis. And he's saying to them, I cannot repay your love. So even the Lord himself is saying he cannot repay the love because he doesn't have any assets to give. And devotional service on this is the highest, this is the most excellent platform of the lover and the beloved, which has never been given in any previous incarnation by any incarnational acharya. This was actually given to us by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this is why we are so fortunate. And then the introduction later goes on to, so we have to try to understand what is this love, what is material love, and what is spiritual love, and the difference between them. And if we want real love, transcendental love, we have to transfer our love to the supreme object, lovable object, which is Krishna, the supreme personality of God. This is the basic principle of Krishna consciousness. So all the love that we have, that we have to give it to Krishna. That he's got to become that which we give our love to. And then Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, you know, he's intrigued. How does she love me? Like, how does Radharani love him so much? And this verse 5 is saying that he comes down to kind of understand this. Like, how does she give him pleasure? He's the Lord, and you know how. And he wants to understand her role and try to, and through that he can understand himself. So, you know, often, you know, people introspect and they're trying to understand what they're like. And then, you know, so this is the Lord in his kind of way, trying to understand himself through her actions, because they are one. And he takes on the mood and the role of Radharani to show us how to love Krishna. And then the 5th verse is about offering respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, who's absorbed in Radharani's thoughts. So the Chaitanya Charitamrita is more about his psychology, his mind, his inside. Like Krishna, you know, in Krishna Leela, it was a lot about, you know, he's the fighter, he's the hero, he's done this, he's done that. But Chaitanya Charitamrita is a lot about it's a lot about the internal. And then, so the Radha Krishna is an exchange of love, but it's not ordinary love. So in normal society, we just see, you know, people love for money, or they love for, you know, physical attraction, or some sort of exchange is given. But Radha and Krishna's love is not like that. That she is his Haladani potency, and she's not separate from him. It's literally, it's his potency. So when he wants to enjoy, that potency is created and comes into manifestation, and then it's him. So there's no difference between them. They're the same. So Radha is Krishna as well. The Shakti and the Shaktiman, they don't exist without each other. So again, you know, this verse about why does she love me so much? What is my special qualification? This is all the things that Krishna is thinking. Like, he wants to understand himself through her love. And then offering obeisances to Nityananda Prabhu, who is his first expansion. And then we spoke about, you know, how and I tried to find this chart about, you know, how manifestation takes place. So Krishna, then from him Balram, then you got Vasudev, Sankarshana, Pradumna, and Aniruddha, and then from Sankarshana you've got Narayan, and from that Narayan you've got another Vasudev, Sankarshana, Pradumna, and Aniruddha, and from that Sankarshana you've got Mahavishnu, which we spoke about, Karnodaksha Vishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and Shirodaksha Vishnu. So we spoke about that, and then obviously from that you have the other expansions and the Leela of Dharas. And these are just charts. I can put them in the chat. If anyone wants this, I can put it in the chat. And then we spoke about these 3 aspects of the Lord. And we spoke a little bit about Vaikuntha, which is not part of the material, which is not, it's not part of the material. It's outside of that. And then we spoke about sound vibration, how this is so important for linking with the Lord, because this allows us to come out of the material and go into the spiritual. So here again, it's about chanting and connecting. And then receiving transcendental knowledge. So we spoke about Krishna injecting basically his transcendental knowledge into Lord Brahma, who then went on to create. Or we can also receive transcendental knowledge through the parampara system. So there's 2 ways of receiving knowledge. And even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he doesn't need a spiritual master, but he still takes on a spiritual master, because you know, to show the world that you need to link. And then we spoke about when Lord glances, he impregnates his wife, which is material nature. So just by his glance, the material nature is agitated, and creation starts. And then obviously the aspects of creator, maintainer, and destroyer. And then the prayers were then moving on to the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, the Panchatattva. So we have, this is all the obeisances. And then there was discussion about Sabandha, Abhidaya, and Priyojana, and the different deities that represent our relationship with the original. So Sabandha is about establishing our original relationship with Krishna. Abhidaya is about how to execute that devotional service. And sorry, for this one, it's Madan Mohan is the deity for that. And then Abhidaya, the deity is Radha Govindji. And then Prayojana is the deity of Radha Gopinath. So that was spoken about in the introduction. And then the last few bits were obviously talking about his pastimes in Vrindavan. So there's obviously a clear similarity between the pastimes in Vraj and the ones in Navadvip. And then just as Krishna attracted the gopis by the sweet sound of his flute, he will also attract the reader's mind by the transcendental vibration. So this was Krishna Das Kaviraj. This is what he was praying to Govindji for, and then that was the summary of what we spoke about yesterday.
Hare Krishna, very nicely. Thank you. Can you please say this?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So can we move on to who was speaking next? I think it's Smriti Karnamataji. So I'm going to stop sharing. Sorry, I'm just pushing ahead because I know we don't have time.
Mataji, I'm happy for you to share the screen as well.
Are you happy? Yeah. Okay. So I'll just so share screen. Can you see my screen? No.
No, Mataji.
Okay. 1 moment. It's database, isn't it? I've got it open. I just need to find it. I always think that no one can hear me when I've got my screen sharing on, but that's not the case. Where is it? Right. Okay, can you see it?
Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
Okay, so that's where we left. So it's Smriti Karnamataji with this one. No, we did the. We've done the. Oh, yeah, we also did the Shishtashtakam, which was the actual only 8 verses that were left by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this was actually all his teachings in 8 verses. Okay, and then the preface is by Smriti Karnamataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisance to all devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, prefaced by Prabhupada also. I am reading. Hare Krishna. There is no difference between the sound is audible
Yeah.
Is it okay? Okay, thank you. There is no difference between the teaching of Lord Chaitanya presented here and the teaching of Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. The teaching of Lord Chaitanya are practical demonstration of Lord Krishna's teaching. Lord Krishna's ultimate instruction in Bhagavad Gita is that everyone should surrender unto him, Lord Krishna. Krishna promises to take immediate charge of such a surrendered soul. The Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is already in charge of maintenance of this creation by virtue of his plenary expansion. Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. But this maintenance is not direct. However, when the Lord says that he takes charge of his pure devotee, he actually takes direct charge. A pure devotee is a soul who is forever surrendered to God. Just as a child is surrendered to his parents or an animal to its owner. In the surrendering process, one should, number one, accept things favorable for discharging devotional service, reject things unfavorable, believe firmly in the Lord's protection, feel exclusively dependent on the mercy of Lord. Number 5, have no interest separate from the interest of the Lord and always feel oneself meek and humble. The Lord demands that one surrender unto him by following these 6 guidelines. But the unintelligent so-called scholar of the world misunderstand these demands and urge the general mass of people to reject them. At the conclusion of 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna directly says, engage your mind always in thinking of me, offer obeisance and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Bhagavad Gita 9, verse 34. However, the scholarly demons misguide the mass of people by directing them to the impersonal, unmanifest, eternal, unborn truth rather than the personality of Godhead. The impersonalist Mayavit philosopher do not accept that the ultimate aspect of the absolute truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one desires to understand the sun as it is, one must first face the sunshine, then the sun globe, and after entering into the globe, come face to face with the predominating duty of the sun. Due to a poor fund of knowledge, the Mayavadi philosophers cannot go beyond the Brahman effulgence, which may be compared to the sunshine. The Upanishad confirms that one has to penetrate the dazzling effulgence of Brahman before one can see the real face of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, teaches direct worship of Lord Krishna, who appeared as the foster child of the king of Braja. He also suggests that the place known as Vrindavan is as good as Lord Krishna, because there is no difference between the name quality, form, pastimes, encourage, and paraphernalia of Lord Krishna and Lord Krishna himself. That is the absolute nature of the absolute truth. Lord Chaitanya also recommended that the higher mode of worship in the highest perfectional stage is the method practiced by the damsel of Braja. These damsels means gopis or cowhead girls, simply loved Krishna without a motive for material or spiritual gain. Chaitanya also recommended Srimad Bhagavatam as the spotless narration of the transcendental knowledge, and he pointed out that the highest goal in human life is to develop unalloyed love for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya's teachings are identical to those given by Lord Kapila, the original founder of Sankhya Yoga, the Sankhya system of philosophy. This authorized system of yoga recommends meditation on the transcendental form of the Lord. There is no question of meditating on something void or impersonal. One can meditate on the transcendental form of Lord Vishnu even without practicing involved sitting posture. Such meditation is called perfect samadhi. This perfect samadhi is verified at the end of the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna says, "And of all yogis, he who always abides in me with the great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga, and this is the highest of all." Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse number 47. Lord Chaitanya instructed the mass people in the Sankhya philosophy of Achintya Vedabhed Tattva, which maintains that the Supreme Lord is simultaneously one with and different from his creation. Lord Chaitanya taught this philosophy through the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. He taught that the holy name of the Lord is the sound incarnation of the Lord, and that since the Lord is absolute whole, there is no difference between his holy name and his transcendental form. Thus, by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can directly associate with the Supreme Lord by sound vibration. As one practices this sound vibration, he passes through 3 stages of development of offensive stage, the clearing stage and the transcendental stage. In the offensive stage, one may desire all kinds of material happiness, but in the second stage, one becomes clear of all material contaminations. When one is situated on the transcendental stage, he attains the most coveted position, the stage of loving God. Lord Chaitanya taught that this is the highest stage of perfection for human beings. Yoga practice is essentially meant for controlling the senses. The central controlling factor of all the senses is the mind. Therefore, one first has to practice controlling the mind by engaging it in Krishna consciousness. The gross activities of the mind are expressed through the external senses, either for the acquiring of knowledge or the functioning of the senses in accordance to the will. The subtle activities of the mind are thinking, feeling, and willing. In accordance to one's consciousness, the individual is either polluted or clear. If one's mind is fixed on Krishna, his name, quality, form, pastimes, encourage, and interest and paraphernalia, all one's activities, both subtle and gross, become favorable. The Bhagavad Gita's process of purifying consciousness is the process of fixing one's mind on Krishna by talking of his transcendental activities, cleansing his temple, going to his temple, seeing the beautiful transcendental form of the Lord nicely decorated, hearing his transcendental glories, tasting food offered to him, associating with his devotees, smelling the flowers and the tulsi leaves offered him, engaging in activities for the Lord's interest, etc. No one can bring the activities of the mind and senses to a stop, but one can purify these activities through a change in consciousness. This change is indicated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 239, verse, when Krishna tells Arjuna of the knowledge of yoga, whereby one can work without fruitive result. O son of Pritha, when you act by such intelligence, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. A human being is sometimes restricted in sense gratification due to certain circumstances, such as disease, etc. But this is not the prescription. Without knowing the actual process by which the mind and senses can be controlled, less intelligent men either try to stop the mind and senses by force, or they give in to them and are carried away by the waves of sense gratification. The regulative principle and the rules of yoga, the various sitting, posture, and breathing exercise performed in an attempt to withdraw one's senses from the sense objects are method meant for those who are too much engrossed in the bodily conception of life. The intelligent man who is situated in Krishna consciousness doesn't try to forcefully stop his senses from acting. Rather, he engages his senses in the service of Krishna. No one can stop a child from playing by leaving him inactive. A child can be stopped from engaging in nonsense by being engaged in superior activities. The forceful restraint of sense activities by the eighth principle of yoga is recommended for inferior men. Being engaged in the superior of yoga is activities of Krishna consciousness, superior man naturally retired from the inferior activities of material existence. In this way, Lord Chaitanya teaches the science of Krishna consciousness. That science is absolute. Dry mental speculators try to restrain themselves from the material attachment, but it is generally found that the mind is too strong to be controlled, and that is dragged them down to sensual activities. A person in Krishna consciousness doesn't run this risk. One has to engage his mind and senses in Krishna consciousness activities, and Lord Chaitanya teaches one how to do this practice. Before accepting sannyas, the renounced order, Lord Chaitanya was known as Vishambhara. The word Vishambhara refers to one who maintains the entire universe and who leads all the living entities. This maintainer and leader appeared as Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya to give humanity this sublime teaching. Lord Chaitanya is the ideal teacher of life's prime necessities. This is the most magnificent bestower of love of Krishna. He is the complete reservoir of all mercies and good fortune. As confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, and the Upanishads. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, and he is the worshipable by everyone in this age of disagreement. Everyone can join in his Sankirtan movement. No previous qualification is necessary. Just by following his teachings, anyone can become a perfect human being. If one is fortunate enough to be attracted by his features, one is sure to be successful in one's life mission. In other words, those who are interested in attaining spiritual existence can be easily relieved from the clutches of Maya by the grace of Lord Chaitanya. These teachings presented in this book are non-different from Lord. Being engrossed in the material body, the conditioned soul increases the pages of history by all kinds of material activities. The teaching of Lord Chaitanya can help human society stop such unnecessary and temporary activities. By this teaching, humanity can be elevated to the topmost platform of spiritual activity. These spiritual activities actually being after liberation from material bondage. Such liberated activities in Krishna consciousness constitute the goal of human perfection. The false prestige one acquires by attempting to dominate material nature is illusory. Illuminating knowledge can be acquired from the teaching of Lord Chaitanya, and by such knowledge, one can advance in spiritual existence. Everyone has to suffer or enjoy these fruits of his activity. No one can check the laws of material nature which govern such things. As long as one is engaged in fruitive activity, he is sure to be baffled in an attempt to attain the ultimate goal of life. I sincerely hope that by understanding the teaching of Lord Chaitanya, human society will experience a new light of spiritual life, which will open the field of activity for the pure soul. Om Tat Sat S.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, that's such powerfully and beautifully read. I think you really penetrated through all of us there with your powerful speech.
Thank you.
Mataji, what was the main bits for you?
The main things that Prabhupada also confirmed that Lord teaching of Lord Chaitanya, that means Lord Nityananda, Lord Mahaprabhu is non-different from Krishna himself, and it was in Treta Yuga, Krishna.
No,
Dapur Yuga, he was as Krishna, and in this Kali Yuga he came as Lord Mahaprabhu, Lord Golden Avatar, and it was mixed of like inside mode of Radharani. He came as mode of Radharani, and the body was as Krishna. That is the only difference. But here, he emphasized everything, that how what he did, like how to what we have to do to surrender to the Lord. 6 principles we have to like follow. Then he mentioned about the stages of realization, three stages of realization. Bolo. Okay.
Yeah.
I forget the word. That is.
Yeah, I saw it as well. Let me just find it.
Yes. So
yeah, the 3 stages.
Brahman realization, Paramatma realization, and Bhagavan realization. And Bhagavan realization is the best. Why? And he also mentioned here about the how to surrender, and how to surrender to the process of surrendering. Somebody who has poor knowledge, we try, we don't understand the meaning of yoga. We think that only the posture, process of sitting, and the system of posturing. So this is the yoga, but the yoga doesn't mean that only physical. It is the link or making relationship with God. And how it is, because how we can try to control it's not easy to control our mind and senses, and only the process of controlling our mind and senses is to serve engage ourselves in the in the service of Krishna. And that is the main process of Krishna consciousness. So gradually, how we can develop ourselves and elevate ourselves only through the process of service to God. And here Prabhupada mentioned how we can serve and how we can engage ourselves in the activities of Lord. So that is also he related with, and how we can by mind, how we can surrender unto God also, and by thinking always about Krishna, by working for him, and that is how we can like liberate or make free from the bondage of work. Then he mentioned also that Achantya Vedabed Tattva here, and so, and like Lord Nityananda, how Chaitanya, why he is non-different from Krishna. He mentioned some pastimes also. So that is how Prabhupada emphasized that before it was like Gita, it is not, it is same as Gita. Gita was spoken by Lord Krishna himself, and Chaitanya, Lord teaching of Lord Chaitanya also the same, but it is adapted according to the age. Now it is teaching of Lord Chaitanya. So in
Hare
short, I Hare
No,
Krishna
carry on.
Mataji.
Sorry, carry on.
No, it's okay. It's this
No,
is in
please.
short.
Please.
It's this is my take away. So Hare Krishna Mataji.
That's so beautiful. I think your summary was just really spot on. I think you've mentioned like every little part of the what you read. Thank you so much, Mataji. Would anybody else like to add any further comments?
Thank you for giving me opportunity, Mataji.
Oh gosh, it's Lord Chaitanya's mercy, Mataji. It's Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Over your
To his
um
devotees.
um right, okay, so we'll move on then to the next part, which is Malti Mataji, which is the prologue by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mm. Shall I start?
Yes, please.
Prologue by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This account originally appeared in a short work by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur intended Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his life and precinct, August 20, 1896. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born in Mayapur in the town of Nadia just after sunset on the evening of the 23rd Fagun, 1407 Sakhabada, answering to the 18th of February 1486 of the Christian era. The moon was eclipsed at the time of his birth, and the people of Noida were then engaged, as was usual on such occasions, in bathing in the Bhagirathi with the loud cheers of Haribol. His father Jagannath Mitra, and a poor Brahmana of the Vedic order, and his mother Sachi Devi, a model woman, a good woman, both descend from a Brahma Brahmana stock originally residing in Sahilt. Mahaprabhu was a beautiful child, and the ladies of the town came to see him with a present. His mother's father, Pandita Nilambara Chakravarti, a renowned astrologer, foretold that the child will be a great personage in the time, and he therefore gave him the name Visabara. The ladies of the neighborhood styled him Gaurahari on account of his golden complexion, and his mother called him Nimai on account of the Nima tree near which he was born. Beautiful as the lad was, every heartily loved to see him every day. As he grew up, he became a whimsical and a frolicsome lad. After his 15 years, he was admitted into a Pathsala, a school where he picked up a Bengali in a very short time. Most of his contemporary biographer has mentioned certain anecdotes regarding Chaitanya, which are simple records of his early miracles. It is said that when he was an infant in his mother's arm, he wept continually, and when the Neighbor ladies cried Haribol, he used to stop. Thus there was a continue of the utterance of Haribol in the house, foreseeing the future mission of the hero. It has also been stated that when his mother once gave him sweetmeats to eat, he ate clay instead of the food. His mother asking for the reason, he stated that and every sweetmeat was nothing but a clay transform. He ate clay as well. His mother, who was the consort of a pandita, explained that every article in a special state was adapted to a special use. Earth, while in the state of a jug, could be used as a water pot, but in the state of a brick such as use was not possible. Clay, therefore, in the form of sweetmeats were usable as food, but not clay in its other state. The lad was convinced and admitted his stupidity in eating clay and agreed to avoid the mistake in the future. Another miraculous act as has been related. It is said that the Brahmana on a pilgrimage become a guest in his house, cooked his food and read his grace with the meditation on Krishna. In the meantime, the lad came and ate up the cooked rice. The Brahmana, astonished at the lad's act, cooked again at the request of Jagannath Mishra. The lad again ate up the cooked rice while the Brahmana was offering the rice to the Krishna with meditation. The Brahmana was pursued to cook for the third time. This time, all the um, inmates of the house had fall asleep, and the lad showed himself as a Krishna to the traveler and blessed him. The Brahmana was then lost in a skepticism at the appearance of the object of his worship. It has also been stated that two thieves stole away the lad from his father's door with the view to procure his jewels and gave him a sweetmeats on the way. The lad exercised his illusory energy and deceived the thieves back towards his own house. The thieves, for fear of dedication, left the boy there and fled. Another miraculous act has been described of the lads demanding and getting from Hiranya and Jagadisha all the offering they had collected for worshipping Krishna on the day of Ekadashi. When only 4 years of age, he sat on rejected cooking pots which were considered unholy by his mother. He explained to his mother that there was no question of holiness and unholiness as regards earthen pots thrown away after the cooking was over. These anecdotes relate to his tender age up to fifth year. In his 8th year, he was admitted into the Tola school of Ganga Dasa Pandit in Ganganagara, close by the village of Mayapur. In 2 years, he became well read in the Sanskrit grammar and rhetoric. His regarding after that were of the nature of self-study in his own house, where he had found all important books belonging to his father, who was a Pandita himself. It appears that he read the Smriti in his own study and the Nayas also in competition with his friends, who were then studying under the celebrated Pandita Raghunath Swami. Ceremony. Now, after his 10th year, Chaitanya became a passable scholar in grammar, rhetoric, the Smriti, and Nayaya. It was after this that his elder brother Visabrupa left his house and accepted the asrama status of a sannyasi ascetic. Chaitanya, though a very young boy, consoled his parents, saying that he will serve them with a view to please God. Just after that, his father left this world. His mother was exceedingly sorry, and Mahaprabhu, with his unusual content appearance, consoled his widowed mother. It was at the age of 14 or 15 that Mahaprabhu was was married to the Lakshmi Devi, the daughter of Vallabhacharya, also of Nadia. He was at this age considered one of the best scholars of Nadia, the renowned seat of Nayana philosophy and the Sanskrit learning, not to speak of the Smrata Pandit. The Naikis were all afraid of confronting him in literally discussion. Being a married man, he went to eastern Bengal on the bank of the Padma for acquirement of a wealth. There he displayed his learning and obtained a good sum of money. It was at this time that he preached Vaishnavism at intervals. After teaching him the principle of Vaishnavism, he ordered Tapana Misra to go and live in Benares. During his residence in eastern Bengal, his wife Lakshmi Devi left this world from the effect of a snake bite. On returning home, he found his mother in a mourning state. He consoled her with a lecture on the uncertainty of human affairs. It was at his mother's request that he married Vishnu Priya, the daughter of Raja Pandita Sanatana Misra. His comrades joined him on his return from a pravasa or a sojourn. He was now so renowned that he was considered to be the best Pandita in the Nadia. Kesava Mishra of Kashmir, who had called himself the great Digvijaya, world conqueror, came to Nadia with a view to debate that the Panditas of that place. Afraid of the so-called conquering Pandita, the Tola professors of Nadia left their town on the pretense of invitations. Kesava met Mahaprabhu at the Barakona Ghata in Mayapur, and after a very short discussion with him, he got defected by the boy, and mortification obliged him to the decamp. Nimai Pandita was now the most important Pandita of the times. It was at the age of 16 or 17 that he traveled to Gaya with the hordes of his students, and there took his spiritual initiation from Iswarapuri, Vaishnava sannyasi and disciple of the renowned Madhavendra Puri. Upon his return to Nadia, Nimai Pandita turned religious preacher, and his religious nature became so strongly represented that Advaita Prabhu, Srivas, and others who had before the birth of Chaitanya already accepted the Vaishnava faith were astonished at the changing in the young man. He was them no more contending a Naiyakya or wrangling Smrata and criticizing rhetorician. He shone at the name of Krishna and behaved as an inspired man under the influence of his religious sentiment. It has been described by Murari Gupta, an eyewitness, that he saw his heavenly power in the house of Srivas Pandita in the presence of hundreds of his followers, were mostly well-read scholars. It was it was at this time that he opened a nocturnal school of Kirtana in the compound of Srivasa Pandit with his sincere follower. There he preached, there he sang, there he danced, and there he expressed all sort of religious feelings. Nityananda Prabhu, who was then the preacher of Vaishnava and who had completed his travel all over India, joined him at that time. In fact, host of Pandita, preacher of Vaishnavism, all sincere at heart, came and joined him from different part of Bengal. Nadia now became the regular seat of a host of Vaishnava Acharya, whose mission it was to spiritualize mankind with the highest influence of the Vaishnava creed. The first mandate that he issued to Prabhu Nityananda and Haridasa was this: go, friends, go through the street of the town, meet every man at his door, and ask him to sing the name of Hari with the holy life, and then come and report to me every evening the result of a year preaching. Those ordered, the two preachers went out and met Jagai and Madai, the two most abominable character in Nadia. These two insulted the preachers on hearing Mahaprabhu mandate, but were soon converted by the influence of Bhakti, included by their Lord. The people of Nadia were now surprised. They said, Nimai Pandit is not only a genetic genius, but is certainly a missionary from a God Almighty. From this time to his 23rd year, Mahaprabhu preached his principle not only in Nidai but in all the important towns and villages around his city. In the house of his followers, he showed miracles, taught that the historic principles of bhakti and sung his sankirtan with other bhaktas. His followers in the town of Nadia commenced to sing the holy name of Hari in the street and bazaars. This created a sensation and roused different feeling in different quarters. The bhaktas were highly pleased. The Smarata Brahmanas became jealous of Nimai Pandit's success and complained to Chand Kaji against the character of Chaitanya, claiming it was an un-Hindu. The Kaji came to Srivas Pandit house and broke all the Mirdanga Khola drum there and declared that unless Nimai Pandit ceased to make a noise about his queer religion, he would be obliged to enforce Mohammedanism on his and his followers. This was brought to a Mahaprabhu notice. He ordered the town is people to appear in the evening, each with the torch in his hand. This they had did, and Nimai marched out with the Sankirtan divided into 14 groups. On his arrival in the Kaji's house, he held a long conversation with the Kaji, and in the end communicated into his heart his Vaishnava influence by touching his body. The Kaji then wept and admitted that he had felt a new spiritual influence which has cleared up his doubt and produced in him a religious sentiment which gave him the highest ecstasy. The Kaji then joined the Sankirtan party. The world was astonished at the spiritual power of a great lord, and hundred of heretics converted and joined the banner of a Visambara after this affair. It was after this that some of the jealous and low-minded Brahma of Kulai picked a quarrel with the Mahaprabhu and collected a party to oppose him. Nimai Pandit was naturally a soft-hearted person, though strong in his principles. He declared that party feelings and Scatrinism were the two great enemies of programs, and he saw that as long as he should continue to be an inhabitant of Nadia belonging to a certain family, his mission would not meet with the complete success. He then resolved to be a citizen of the world by cutting off his connection with his particular family, caste, and creed, and with his resolution, he embraced the position of a sannyasi at the Katua under the guidance of a Kesava Bharati of that town in the 24th year of his life. His mother and wife wept bitterly of his separation, but our hero, though soft in heart, was a strong person in his principle. He left his little world in house of for the unlimited spiritual world of Krishna with a man in general. After his sannyasa, he was induced to visit the house of Advaita Prabhu in Santipura. Advaita managed to invite all the Mayapuru's friend and admirers from Nadia and brought Sachi Devi to see her son. Both pleasure and pain invaded her heart when she saw her son in the attire of a sannyasi. As a sannyasi, Krishna Chaitanya put on nothing but a cow. Uh, eh? Mataji, yes, but Kaupanya and a Bahirasa outer ring covering. His head was without hair, and his hand bore a danda stick and a kamandalu, hermit's water pot. The Holy Son fell at the feet of his beloved mother and said, "Mother, this body is yours, and I must obey your orders. Permit me to go to the Vrindavan for my spiritual attainments." The mother is consultation with the Advaita and others. Asks her son to be reside in Puri, the two of Jagannath, so that she might obtain news of him now and then. Mahaprabhu agreed to that propositions, and in a few days left Santipura for Orissa. His His bibliographer have described the journey of Krishna Chaitanya, that was the name he got after his sannyasi, from the Santipura to Puri in a great detail. He traveled along the side of the Bhagiratha as far as Chatravoga, situated now in the Thana Mathurapura, Diamond Harbour, 24 Parganas. There he took a boat and went as far as Pragya Ghata in the Midnapur district. Then he walked through the Balasore and Kotaka to Puri, seeing the temple of Bhumenaswara on his way. Upon his arrival at Puri, he saw Jagannath in temple and reside with the Sarvabhauma at the request of the latter. Sarvabhauma was a Gingatic Pandit of the day. His reading knows no bounds. He was the best Nayakya of the times and was known as the most erudite scholar in the Vedanta philosophy of the school of Sankaracharya. He was born in Nadia, Vidanagar, and taught innumerable pupils in the Naya philosophy in his Tola there. He had left for Puri some time before the birth of Nimai Pandit. His brother-in-law Gopinath Mishra introduced our new sannyasi to a Sarvabhauma, who was astonished at his personal beauty and feared that it would be difficult for the young man to maintain a sannyas dharma during the long run of his life. Gopinath, who had known Mahaprabhu from Nadia, had a great reverence for him and declared that the sannyasi was not a common human being. On this point, Gopinatha and Sarvabhauma had hot discussion. Sarvabhauma then requested Mahaprabhu to hear his recitation of the Vedanta Sutra, to which the latter tacitly submitted. Chaitanya here with the silence what the great Sarvabhauma uttered with the gravity for 7 days, at the end of which the latter said, "Krishna Chaitanya, I think you do not understand the Vedanta, as you do not say anything after hearing my recitation and explanation." The, the reply of Chaitanya was that he understood the sutra very well, but could not make out what Sankaracharya meant by his commentarians. Astonished at this, Sarvabhauma said, "How is it that you understand the meaning of sutras, but do not understand the commentaries which explain the sutras? All well, if you understand the sutra, please let me have your interpretations." Mahaprabhu theory up explained all the sutra in his own way, without touching the pantheistic commentary of the Sankara. Then, in understanding of a Sarvabhauma, saw the truth, beauty, and harmony of the agreements in the explanation given by Chaitanya, and obliged him to utter that it was the first time he had found one who could explain the Brahma Sutra in such a simple manner. He also admitted that the commentaries of Saskara never gave up a natural explanation of the Vedanta Sutra as those he had obtained from a Mahaprabhu. Sarvabhauma then submitted in Silas and advocate and followers. In a few days, he turned out to be one of the best Vaishnava of the time. When report of this came out, the whole of Orissa sang the praise of Krishna Chaitanya. Krishna Chaitanya and hundred came to him and became his follower. In the meantime, Mahaprabhu thought of visiting southern India, and he started with the one Krishna Dasa Brahmana for the journey. His biographer have given us a detail of journey. He first went to the Kumakshetra where he did a miracle by curing a leper and named Vasudeva. He met Ramananda Raya, the governor of Vaidyanagara, on the bank of the Godavari, and had a philosophical conversation with him on the subject of Prema Bhakti. We worked another miracle by making them immediately disappear. The seven talas trees from behind with the Ramachandra, the son of Dasratha, had soft trees arrow and kill the great Vali Raja. Mahaprabhu preached Vaishnavism and named Sankirtan throughout his journey. At Rangasetra, he stayed for 4 months in the house of one Venakat Bhatt in order to spend the rainy season. There he converted the whole family of Venkata from Ramanuja Vaishnavism to the Krishna Bhakti, including the son of Venakata, a boy of 10 years named Gopala, who afterward came to the Vrindavan and became one of the six Goswami prophets, serving under their leader Sri Krishna Chaitanya, trained up in Sanskrit by his uncle Prabhananda Sarvivati. Gopala wrote several books on Vaishnavism. Chaitanya visited numerous places in the south India as far as Cape Comorin and returned to the Puri in 2 years by the Pandarapura on the Bhima. In this later place, he spiritualized on the Tukrama, who become from that time's religious preach himself. This fact he been admitted in his Avagana, which have been collected in a volume by a Miss Satyagranatha Tagore on the Bombay Civil Service. During his journey, he had discussion with the Buddhists, the Jains, and the Mayavadis in several places and converted his opponents to the Vaishnavism. Upon his return to Puri, Raja Pratapurdeva and several Pandits Brahmins joined the banner of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was now 27 years of age. In his 28 years, he went to Bengal as far as Gouda in Malda. There he picked up two great persons named Rupa and Sanatana, those descend from the line of the Karantik Brahmanas. These two brothers had returned demi Mohammedans by their continual contact with the Hashin Sahab, the then emperor of Gouda. Their names had been changed by the emperor into the Dabira Khasa and Sakara Malika, and this master loved them heartily as they were both learned in the Persian, Arabic, and Sankirtan, and were loyal servant of the state. The two gentlemen had found no way to come back as a regular Hindus and had written the Mahaprabhu while he was at Puri for spiritual help. Mahaprabhu had written in reply that he would come to them and extricate them out of their spiritual difficulties. Now that he had come to the Gouda, both the brothers appeared before him with their long standing prayer. Mahaprabhu ordered them to go Vrindavan and meet him there. Chaitanya returned to Puri through the Santipura, where he again met his dear mother. After a short stay at the Puri, he left for Vrindavan. This time he was accompanied by one Balabhadra Bhattacharya. He visited Vrindavan and came down to Pragya, Allahabad, converting a large number of Mohammedans to Vaishnavism by agreement from the Korna. The descent of those converts are still known as the Pathana Vaishnavas. Rupa Goswami met him at Allahabad. Chaitanya trained him up in spirituality in 10 days and directed him to go to Vrindavan on two missions. His first mission was to write an theological work scientifically explaining pure bhakti and prema. The second mission was to revamp the place where Krishna Chandra had at the end of the Dupra Yoga exhibited his spiritual lila for the benefit of the religious world. Rupa Goswami left Allahabad for Vrindavan and Mahaprabhu came down to the Benres. There he resided in the house of Chandrasekha and accept his daily Viksha meal in the house of Tapana Misra. Here it was the Santama Goswami joined him and took instruction for 2 months in the spiritual matters. The biographer, especially Krishna Dasa Kaviraja, have given us detail of Chaitanya teaching to Rupa and Sanatana. Krishna Dasa was not a contemporary writer, but he gathered his information from the six Goswami themselves, the direct disciples of Mahaprabhu. Jiva Goswami, who was a nephew of Sanatan and Rupa and who has left us with the invaluable work at the Sat Sandaravas, he philosophized on the precept of his great leader. We have gathered and summarized the precepts of Chaitanya from the book of those great writers. While at the Benares, Chaitanya had an interview with the leader sannyasi of the town in the house of Maratha Brahmana. We had invited all the sannyasi for the entertainment. On this interview, Chaitanya saw a miracle which attracted all the sannyasi to him. Then ensued a reciprocal conversation. The sannyasis were aided by their most learned leader, Prakasanda Sarvasvati. After a short controversy, they submitted to Mahaprabhu and admitted that they had been misled by the commentaries of Sankaracharya. It was impossible even for learned scholar to oppose Chaitanya for a long time, as there was some spell in him which touched their heart and made them weep for their spiritual improvement. The sannyasi of Benres soon fell at the feet of Chaitanya and asked for his grace kripa. Chaitanya then preached pure bhakti and installed into their heart a spiritual love for Krishna, which obligated them to give up a Scrattian feeling. The whole population of Venras on this wonderful conversion of the sannyasi turned Vaishnava, and they made a massive Sankirtan with their new lord. After sending Sanatana to Vrindavan, Mahaprabhu went to Puri again through the jungle with his comrade Balabhadra. Balabhadra reported that Mahaprabhu saw a good many miracles on this way to Puri, such as making tigers and elephants dance on hearing the name of Krishna. From this time, that in the from his 31st year, Mahaprabhu continually lived in Puri in the house of a Kasi Misra until his disappearance in his 48 years at the time of Sankirtana in the temple of Tota Gopinath. During these 18 years, his life was one of the settled love and piety. He was surrounded by a numerous followers, all of whom were of the highest order of the Vaishnava and who were distinguished from the common people by their purest character and learning from religious principles and spiritual love of Radha Krishna. Swarupa Damodara, who had been known by the name of Purushottam Acharya, while Mahaprabhu was Nadia, joined him from Benares and accepted the service of his secretary. Now, production of any poet or philosopher could be laid before Mahaprabhu unless Swarupa has passed it as a pure and useful. Raya Ramananda was his second mate. Both he and Swarupa would sing while Mahaprabhu expressed his sentiment of a certain point of worship. Paramananda Puri was his minister in a matter of religion. There are 100 of anecdotes described by his bibliographer which we do not think it meet here to be reproduced. Mahaprabhu slept short. His sentiment carried him far and wide in the firmaments of spirituality every day and night, and all his admirers or followers was him throughout. He worshipped, communicated with his missionary in Vrindavan, and conversed with the other religion men who newly came to visit him. He sang and danced, took no care of himself, and oftentimes lost himself in the religious beautitude. All who came to him believe in him as the all beautiful God appearing in the nether world for the benefit of mankind. He loved his mother all along and sent her a Mahaprasad now and then with those who went to Nadia. He was not amiable in nature. Humility was personalized in him. His sweet appearance gave cheers to all who came in contact with him. He appointed Prabhu Nityananda as the missionary in charge of Bengal. He dispatched 6 disciples Goswami to Vrindavan to preach love in the upcountry. He punished all of his disciples who deviated from a holy life. This he marked did in the case of Journey Haridasa. He never lacked in giving proper instruction in life to those who solicited them. This was seen in his teaching to Raghunath Dasa Goswami. His treatment of Haridasa Senior shows how he loved spiritual men and how he defined caste distance in the case of spiritual brotherhood. Hare Krishna.
Brother Sekmat, you're on mute.
Hare Krishna, sorry. Mataji, that was so beautiful. Thank you for taking us through the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We really relished that. You could see it, you know. Thank you so much. What was your favorite pastime? There's so many.
Yes, Mataji, so many, but main thing as I remember that story of Jagai Madai Mataji, because I feel that I'm also like same as a Jagai Madai. He was so
Mataji,
he was
I'm
so
sure.
merciful and he's full of love and um, blessing. So he accept that Jagai Madai, and they are also changed and became a devotee. So that part is most beautiful.
Yeah, you know what? When I first read this, I really related to that, and I know 100% you're just speaking out of humility. That's not you, but I do relate to that. Like it's like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like the lowest of the lowest, and that gives us all some hope. But I think in your case, you're just being very, very humble. But yeah, I think I'll try and find. Yes, it's definitely it's very, you know, it's the spectrum that we see between Mahaprabhu's mercy and then these dacoits who, you know, when you read the stories, they're very, very bad. So yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. That was so beautifully expressed, and you took us on a journey of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, which was so beautiful. So now moving on to Gaurangi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So I'm just going to put my charger in. Sorry. Yeah. So, right, Mataji, we're ready whenever you are.
Yeah, Mataji. Maybe forgive to me. Maybe I cannot read properly. So, okay.
It's going to be very devotional, Mataji.
Oh, a note about this edition. Srila Prabhupada completed teaching of Lord Chaitanya in 1967, and his Bhaktivedanta book Trust, then known as ISKCON Press, published in it 1968. In 1974, the BBT published an extensively received editing with Sanskrit diacritical marks and selected verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the source book for teaching of Lord Chaitanya. For the present edition, the editor completed the two previous editing. The original manuscript is lost, and restored some of the flavor of the original. In addition, they found that perhaps owing to Srila Prabhupada's heavily extended some of the flavor of original in additional. Oh, sorry, this is going again. English
No.
and invent quality of his decided types or the difficult philosophy concept in some passages of teaching of Lord Chaitanya. The original transcripts and editor had occasionally error. These errors continues less than 3. Mataji, can you scroll?
Yeah.
This is, yeah. What is that? Um, bit more down, Mataji. I couldn't see that
Bit
one.
down. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. Mm, yeah, from Sri Chaitanya source book for teaching for Lord Chaitanya. For the present edition, the editor compared to the two previous edition, the original manuscript of lost and restored some of the flavor of the original in edition, and they found that perhaps when to Srila Prabhupada's heavily accepted English, the uneven quality of his dedicated types of or the difficult philosophical concept on some passages of teaching of Lord Chaitanya. The original transcripts and editor had occasionally error. These errors constituting less than 3% present of the total text have now been corrected so that an already perfect book has become even more perfect for its increased fidelity to Srila Prabhupada's original words and intended meaning. Mataji, up.
That's
Do
beautiful.
up.
I'm going to just carry on if you can read the next bit.
Okay. The dedication delighted to the sacred service of Srila Sachinandana Bhakti Vinoda Thakura, who initiated the teaching of Lord Chaitanya in the Western world. Okay. This is McGill University, Canada, in 1896, the year of my birth, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. It's finished,
Hare,
Mataji? Hare
thank you.
Krishna.
Mataji, so thank you. You read beautifully and clearly also. So I think, Mataji, did you kind of get what this was saying?
I don't know, Mataji. I cannot describe. You can do from my side,
Okay.
Mataji.
So I think the key thing here is that Srila Prabhupada took teachings that were already given to us by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So he had already introduced Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the Western audience. But then what Srila Prabhupada did, he compiled all the key teachings from Chaitanya Charitamrita into the smaller book, which was called the Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So he took the specific verses that were kind of the main ones, and he put them into the smaller edition. And then I think his followers, I think there was a manuscript that was lost, one of the ones that Srila Prabhupada had done. So I think, and because Srila Prabhupada was describing it on his dictated tapes, and due to his heavily accented English, I think some of his disciples probably then went on to correct his, not correct, that's the wrong word, to kind of I don't know what the right word is to use here, but to kind of they're not errors as such, but they're trying to interpret it as the best they can, I suppose. And it is the fact that Chaitanya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur Maharaj, he brought these teachings to the West. So what we know about Lord Chaitanya is generally through the teachings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and then Srila Prabhupada has then gone on to give us the teachings of Lord Chaitanya in a more compact version, so that it's easier for us to understand. And he's taken, obviously, there's lots and lots of different Chaitanya Charitamrita books. So he's condensed and he's put the main teachings into this edition of teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Amol Prabhu, if you could add anything, I think that's all I can gauge.
Thank you, Mataji. It is very beautiful. So this is teachings of Lord Chaitanya coming from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it's a compact version of it and summarizing. So reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is 9 volumes. I don't know, it may take longer time. So Prabhupada has kindly given compacted version, teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Yeah, this is exploring all the pastimes in a shorter time. So that is what I understand. And yeah, there are a few things after these publications. These are kind of diacritics and everything else. It is kind of proofreading kind of stuff. Maybe once again revising if there are any corrections like that. But everything is nectar. That's all I understand, Mataji, from this in the preface and also the prologue. That's it.
Okay. So thank you for everyone that's read today. It was really lovely to hear all these beautiful pastimes that Malati Mataji just like took us through, and Smriti Karna Mataji, that was really powerful. Like, it was, when you were speaking, it was like you were literally telling us the teachings and making us just that little bit more Krishna conscious. And I think the pastimes were beautifully described. And then as Gorangi Mataji just letting us know like where the source of these teachings are from, and linking us back to the parampara of so Srila Prabhupada is taking the teachings from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So the importance of the parampara system, and he made it so much more accessible, just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur Maharaj predicted that his Senapati preacher would be around, so and he will preach the whole of the Western world. So this is all, we are all very fortunate to have access to these amazing teachings, which the 500 years ago is not really that long time ago compared to Krishna was here 5,000 years ago. So 500 years is fairly kind of, it doesn't seem that far away kind of thing. And and we are still able to access this beautiful transcendental knowledge. It's which was lost for such a long time because of the appearance of the great Lord again in the form of Lord Chaitanya. And then of course this huge volume of work that Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he was only here very recently, so this is all very new and fresh. So Lord is always ever fresh, that we read about Krishna, so that we're experiencing this freshness from the Lord. So I'm just going to ask if anybody else wants to make any further comments.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
It's not about the comment. I just want to ask, like, where can I get access to this? Like, whether it's PDF or book, how do I get access to this?
Okay, it's on. I think Amol Prabhu has put in our chat. He's put a link to the Veda-based link, so you can read it online. But alternatively, I have I know. I think I got my copy from the Manna teachings of Lord Chaitanya. It's a small white book. It's, I think you can definitely get it from the manor.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, the bookshop in the manor. If you want, let me know, and I'll reserve a copy for you or something.
Surely, Mataji, I'll let you know.
Yes, please.
Krishna.
Krishna, please collect this copy. I have a little thing. Actually, they collecting this point. Bhagavad Gita was a dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna. Krishna was giving instruction, as Mataji already mentioned, is 5,000 years before. But 500 years before, Lord Chaitanya came to show how to practice it. So that is the very important point we have to learn. So the way of devotional life, how we can follow that. And that is the Anukulla, accepting what is the favorable for Lord Krishna and rejecting what is not favorable for Krishna consciousness movement. These are the main point we have to follow then. Actually, Chaitanya Charitamrita is the higher study, is considered as a very, very high level of understanding. After Srimad Bhagavad Gita, that is surrender to Lord Krishna. Then in Bhagavatam, how to surrender, that is we can get different devotees in the Leela. And then in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Krishna, he came himself how to do or demonstrate how to do surrendering with servitude mode. That is the very important thing. So, and this is already, as Mataji mentioned, is a very recent. Prabhupada has written, collecting from Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and is a right mood, right attention, how to practice this one. Because Chaitanya Charitamrita is a very, very high level of understanding. So we have to follow this, that mode of, or that manner. We have to follow then. In the we can progress in Krishna consciousness movement. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Ratan Prabhu, please bless us so we get this mood. I think you have the mood. So please bless us all also.
So we need your blessings, all of your devotees' blessings, please. Please. Yeah. Please. Hare Krishna. And thank you, Mataji. You are giving this one. This is a teaching of Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is very important to us to learn, because we are following Krishna consciousness movement, Brahma Gauriya Sampradaya. But we have to follow this one, Lord Krishna's teaching. What is that? And we have to learn. Maybe we cannot know all this by heart, but main point we have to learn. Actually, we can go further, deep and deep. What is the main point in the Rai Ramananda? Is very, very important dialogue of Lord Chaitanya and Rai Ramananda. It's a very essence of Krishna consciousness. We can go further on. It's very important. Please, this is the one of the very best book for me I read, actually. Please, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I think we will move on to the conversation between the Lord and Ramananda Rai at some point in this journey.
Yeah, even today also in the discussion, it was some part, mentioned, highlighted. I mean, what was the Rai Ramananda and Lord Krishna? Some part it was mentioned. But we can read deeply in the later stage, at the end of it. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Okay, is there anything from Usha Mataji? Who else is there? Meena Mataji, Sanchita Mataji.
No, Mataji, thank you so much for this putting for Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yeah, thank you.
I think it's just Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. It's just yeah.
During the holiday time, we utilize our time for listening this. So nice. Thank you, Mataji.
Sanchita Mataji.
Yeah, it's as Joe mentioned, this is really one of the important, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's really one of the very important books, as Mahaprabhu really showed us how to live the Gita. So, and Ushimataji mentioned, like, we're utilizing this holiday a little bit of a time to read and share the realization. So very good start by you yesterday, and all the three Matajis really done very well and read and powerful reading and sharing the beautiful realization from that. So yes, please bless me tomorrow. It's my turn and it's a big one.
Yes, Mataji, I think you're the sole speaker tomorrow. Hold on, I'm just going to check.
Yeah,
I think you've got a long chapter, haven't you?
It's a big chapter. Yeah, the conversation. I mean,
So
in
you're
just 10 days,
starting. Yeah.
In 10 days, how, I mean, Mahaprabhu explained Rupa Goswami the entire lesson, and that how made him, Rupa Goswami, to do all that great things in his life. So he only got that 10 days because Mahaprabhu didn't have much time. So whatever time he could give to all the Goswamis, these were precious moments and share all the important teachings. So I was going through the reading, and it was just 10 days, and he summed up everything that we, like, we're taking our lifetime to really read and realize. So Mahaprabhu did that for Rupa Goswami, and following other Goswamis in the later chapters. I mean, he's given a considerable amount of time to each of them, and shared, because, and that was how we found Vrindavan, like it was lost. It was only these 500 years ago that all the Goswamis, they did so much of austerity, and then they founded Vrindavan for us, and we are so grateful to them for this. And of course, the Krishna is a seed-giving father. So, and he, as Mahaprabhu, he did that. He gave the seed of this transcendental knowledge to these Goswamis, and I mean, other devotees like Ramananda Rai and his intimate disciples. Yeah, to carry on this work, and we are here today due to Srila Prabhupada. So yeah. And of course, because of the parampara and how the parampara has been followed over from Krishna till today. Yes. Yeah.
Mataji, I'm just really looking forward now. I think you just really made us like really look forward to tomorrow. You've obviously absorbed these teachings because we're feeling we want to hear them quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah. Right. Okay. Okay. So, Amol Prabhu, shall we wrap up now?
Yes, we're already happy. Then we shall conclude the session and continue if any devotees wanted to chant.
Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhaischa kripasindhubhaya
Namo
Vaishnapatinam.
Padmini Vaishnavibhyo Namo Ananta Koti Vaishnavindya Ki Jai Shri
Jai.
Prabhupada Jai. Hare Krishna.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu